So here we are, and now we have to talk about this Tyson Nash commentary from last night's Ducks-Coyotes game. And it's just sickening that we even have to have this discussion. I mean, what it is it's actually fucking disgusting is what it is. It's an absolute fucking disgrace. A joke to the game is what it is. Good on Jay Beagle. If you want to skill it up, you better expect to get punched in the face. What kind of attitude is that? Yeah, so what? He did the Michigan. He did the Michigan in the middle of the first period in a 2-0 game to make it 3-0. How dare he make a highly skilled play to try and put his team up early in the game? How can he do that in front of me and embarrass everybody? I have a fucking family to think about. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Have each team send a note to the other team's locker room before a game with a list of moves that may or may not offend them so these skilled guys know what to do and when to lay off? Fuck off. And even if he was doing it because he's down by 5 and you have to show emotion because you can't just walk away. You have to do something to show that you're in the game and save face. It's just what you have to do. I mean, I could see wanting to show some pride. I can see wanting to not go away quietly. But unfortunately, the translation for that isn't start skating hard, start laying some good, clean body and being aggressive and put a little effort in. Its translation is just to goon it up. And that's what these dinosaurs in the press boxes and that are running the league want these players to do. Not everybody, but unfortunately too many, that players feel like they have to subscribe to this fucking code. And unfortunately, it only works one way. Basically, the team that's down is allowed to do whatever they want, and actually they better do whatever they want, or they're going to be laughed out of the building. But the team that's ahead, you better settle down. You're going to embarrass somebody out there. I think they're embarrassing themselves when they take it upon themselves to goon it up just to save face, just to say they're in the game. If you tell me it's their job, if you tell me that if they don't do that, then they're not going to have a spot in the NHL very much longer, because if you don't show emotion and show some pride, and at least if you're going to lose on the scoreboard, you better win in the streets, or else you're going to be out of a job. Well, guess what? It's also those skilled guys' job to do something with their skill. They have bonus incentives for points, and they get contract extensions and awards for doing things that involve skill and for scoring more points. So why do they have to take their foot off the gas? If that's what it's about, if it's about saving your job, let them do their job all the time, every minute of every game. Same thing, isn't it? Fair's fair. But no, that's not the way the world works. They have to lay off. They can't embarrass anybody. They just have to sit there and be quiet and hope that someone doesn't take their fucking head off. And that's not the way I want to leave a game. I should be able to be up 5-0, play a game, and go home quietly. That's what they want me to do. But I can't go home quietly because the other bench is told they're not allowed to go home quietly. You're setting the skilled guys up for failure right there, because if they stop playing hard, then they're going to get beaten anyway by a team that needs to show that they're still involved in the game. And if they keep playing hard, all they're doing is enticing those players and giving them a reason to beat them up. So which one do you want? If I knew I was going to get beat up either way, I'd keep playing. But we're always moving the goalposts on that code anyway, aren't we? It's so impossible to follow and explain to people outside the hockey world. And then when they don't understand, you say, well, that's just because you don't get it. It's not that they don't get it. It's that you can't explain it because it makes no fucking sense. There's no code. There's a semblance of the idea of a code, but even if there is a code, there's 32 teams and they all follow a different one. So what there is 32 codes, and no two teams are playing by the same one at any given moment. So I'm going to give Jay Beagle the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to assume Tyson Nash is wrong and that Beagle is not triggered by a Michigan move in the middle of the first period in a close game where he needs to use that skill to his advantage and put his team up. I'm going to assume he's not triggered by someone just doing their simple job. What he's triggered by is the little dig to the goalie, supposedly after the whistle when the puck was covered. He's going to come in and give him a cross-check because that's what you do. I can almost understand that. Although when you look at that dig to the goalie, we already said it. Now I'm going to give Jay Beagle the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to assume it's not about the mission. I'm going to assume Tyler Nash is wrong. It's not about a skilled guy skilling it up. It's about Trevor Zegras digging at the goalie after the whistle late in a 5-0 game. I'm going to assume that's what it's about. And I mean, we're living in a league where a goalie can get up and slash a guy and chase him down and then spear him in the groin, and everyone thinks he's great about it, all because someone dared move the puck 2 inches forward across a line of red paint after the whistle. So I can understand why, if people are cheering him as a hero for doing that, that Beagle might be a hero for cross-checking a guy in the back from behind, in the lower back, in a very exposed area, unprotected and injury-prone. If he wants to be the guy that does that just because somebody went for a loose puck that was loose and then stopped after the whistle because he's a little bit offended because it's 5-0, then it is what it is, I guess. But if you don't want Zegras to play till the whistle, how is he supposed to know? Because look at Kotkaniemi the other night. He got fucking drilled late in a blowout game, and people are saying, well, if you don't want to get hit, play till the whistle. But now you're fast forwarding to this game in Zegras and you're saying if you play to the whistle, you better expect to get hit. So which one is it? Make up your fucking mind. But we can laugh about all that and get really excited about fights and things when these come up and debate about them. And it is kind of fun to talk about. But here's where it gets sad, is Jay Beagle is put in that position to begin with. Here's where what Tyson Nash says breaks my heart a lot. And especially for Jay Beagle, because they say he's been around a long time. He's a veteran player. He's going to show these kids how to act. And he talks about being a veteran player as this is a positive thing. But to me, all it means is he's been in the league so long that at worst, he's been brainwashed by these fucking barbarian dinosaurs that sit in their little boxes and tell these guys what to do and make money off them putting themselves on the line every night and having to adhere in this environment to this code. He's been around long enough to be brainwashed into thinking that's the right way to go about things. Or he's been around that long because he's realized that if he wants to survive in this league, if he wants to have a long NHL career, well, he has to reluctantly become somebody he wouldn't necessarily want to be in any other circumstance just to keep his job. And when we talk about fighting, we always say, well, they had a choice. They're two willing combatants. But in a lot of cases, they're not willing combatants. You have Jay Beagle coming in, and he's got to give a guy a cross-check, and maybe he likes that. Maybe it was his idea. Maybe he really thinks that's the right way to go about things. Cross-check Zegras. But because he did what he did, now someone else from Anaheim has to come in. And you're looking around the ice, and you don't know who it's going to be, but someone has to do it. So Troy Terry ended up stepping up. But I would not call Troy Terry a willing combatant in this situation, and here's why. Because let's just say Troy Terry did not go after Jay Beagle, but then went to the media and said, I didn't like that cross-check one bit, shouldn't have done it. Everyone would be saying to Troy Terry, well, you should have done something in the moment then. Why didn't you step up and be a man and defend your teammate? That's not a choice. Then when he goes in, you're saying, well, it's his fault he got beat up because he's the one that poked the bear. He shouldn't have gone in there if he didn't want to get beat up. So you see, he has no choice. He's got the choice to not have a career or to be called a chicken or a coward or not a good teammate. He has that choice. Or he has the choice to sell himself a little bit and to have parts of himself that he doesn't necessarily really like to become a player that can last in the NHL. That's what you have to do. And that's why you have players like Austin Matthews cross-checking Darlene in the face. That's why you have players like Taylor Hall who are punching people from behind and defending themselves. That's why you have Nathan McKinnon injured right now in a fight. Because superstars realize that in order to last in this league, they have to become sometimes people that they don't necessarily want to be. Now, some people do want to be those players. Some people do relish that role of tough guy, of aggravator, of instigator, of shit disturber. Some people love that. But that's who these players need those shit disturbers to protect themselves from.